Hello, welcome to the DVD bunker. I'm Brian. That's Matt.
How's it going, Brian?
It's going good. It's going good. If you're a first-time viewer, maybe you don't know what we do here on the DVD bunker is we go through my collection of DVDs and we look at movies that I haven't watched in a long time, or maybe only saw once or twice and bought it and just let it sit, or sometimes even things I like that I'm trying to get the word out about. But today, earlier in the month, this is the third week. Sorry if you're watching, this is week 3 of our October Halloween extravaganza. In week 1, we did Witchboard, which I said was kind of a gateway horror movie for my wife. And today, we are doing a gateway horror movie from my childhood, The Gate. This is a movie that I remember watching like more than once as a probably a pretty young child, but then haven't seen in like forever. Like I have a few visual memories of it, and that's about it.
Oh, that's cool.
So I'm excited to get back into this one. What about you? You got any?
No, nothing. Only thing I have for this is I remember when Blade came out and Stephen Dorff was in Blade. Everyone was like, "That's the kid from The Gate," and I was like, "I don't know what that means." So
all right,
here we
fair
are.
enough.
Yeah.
I mean, Stephen Dorff's kind of semi-famous, but yeah, he hasn't had a huge. He's kind of like flies under the radar, and I think it's because he's equally tall as he was when he filmed this movie right now.
That is too bad.
He's such a small guy, and I think like even for Hollywood, where like they make Tom Cruise seem tall in movies, it's like Stephen Dorff is even too short to do that with. He's just relegated straight to DVD now.
and he didn't get picked by Peter Jackson, so he was out
true.
on that. So
and I mean, come on, Deacon Frost is a great villain and stuff.
It's true.
Yeah, but so basically all I know / remember about this is 2 friends, kids, I think they're 10 or 11 maybe, are digging in their backyard and they kind of find a gate to some sort of evil dimension. I hesitate to say hell just because the back of the box didn't say hell.
Okay.
And I was like, okay, so I'll watch the movie and gauge whether I think it's hell or I think it's like some kind of just evil dimension or something. We'll play it by ear.
Okay.
They didn't specifically say gate to hell, so we'll see what's up.
It's a gate to somewhere.
It's a gate of some kind. But aside from that, I tried to look up stuff about the director. He mostly just directed TV and stuff, straight to DVD. Some Red Shoe Diaries were on there.
Oh, so I am a fan of his work, is what you're saying.
Now, there is a sequel to this movie, The Gate, too, which I never knew that. So that's something that I saw looking at the IMDb for the director. But aside from that, nothing notable. And nobody jumped out at me right away from the cast, so we'll just play that game with Character Corner
where your wife tells us who they are.
Exactly, where Sarah tells us what episode of X-Files they started. That's right.
Perfect.
So I guess neither of us really have too much to say about it because we don't know shit about it.
No, that's
Stephen Dorff's in it, everybody. Thank you. Good night.
What's a gate?
All right, we're back. We just finished watching The Gate. So I want to ask you right off the bat. This first, what I guess really want to say first is this movie really moves.
Yeah.
It's like a tight 85 minutes, and it just go. The whole pretty much everything is like working towards something. There's no wasted time.
You don't learn there's no oh, this is the family, or really there is a little bit, but it goes right.
It's all in service of moving the plot forward, moving it, keeping it tight. We open on Stephen Dorff coming home to what I thought was a fairly obvious dream sequence.
Yeah.
Very
misty.
But I like that they jumped right into it, and it's weird, just kind of the eerie feel of things left done, people just disappear in the middle of doing something, stuff on the table, half-eaten meal on the table and stuff like that. And in his dream, he goes out to his tree house, and while he's in his tree house, it gets struck by lightning, and it falls over, and then he wakes up from this terrible nightmare, and he wakes up to them actually chopping up. Now, I wasn't sure what happened with that tree.
Well, when you watch it, when it falls in the dream, it really is they just uprooted a tree, because when you see it fall, the roots come up in his dream.
That's why I noticed, when he wakes up, they're cutting it, but the roots also were up, so it's not so did that really happen? And while he simultaneously dreamed it?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, there is a hell gate outside now, so anything goes.
The hole left where the tree was.
Yeah.
Is then kind of he finds a geode in there. He finds I don't know if you don't know what geode is, a big rock, you crack it open, it's got crystals on the inside. instantly his friend Terry shows up, and they're just digging a bigger hole where this was. It's just like, well, there's one geode, there'll be more, and they're just like tearing into it.
And it really is about 1.5 feet to get to the gate. It's really up there on the surface.
It's right. It must have been so close. Like, yeah, the parents are going out of town. They ground Glenn because him and Terry made the hole way bigger and stuff out there. So that's why he's like grounded to the house for the weekend.
Mm-hmm.
And his older sister Al is in charge. They call her Al. I'm sure her name's like Alicia.
Yeah, Allison. Yeah.
I didn't pay attention. But they call her Al. Immediately when the parents leave, she has a cliche 80s party. Kids just dancing, being boring, but she's not even having a good time at it. She's like doing the whole worried run around and clean up after people thing. So you get the impression that maybe like her character reminded me of Winona Ryder and Heathers a little bit, where like she's kind of starting to break into this group she's not really a part of, like trying to like play it, be cool with the cool kids, and like
take advantage a little bit.
She's right on the brink of like she's just getting too old. Like, it seems like her and her brother were really close, and she's aging out of that. It's a cliche, actually, that I think we've seen played out pretty recently on Stranger Things. Similar situation.
Exactly.
You get the impression that the sister was more involved with the friends, and then she grew up a little bit.
Yeah. As it happens, it does happen.
After they open up the geode and just accidentally speak some words they see, they're going down, and there's like a girl that we pegged as like a nerd who wouldn't be at this party, but then all of a sudden she's like a witch. She's like one of the girls from The Craft, and they're doing this weird levitation trick, and they get Glenn involved, and of course he actually does levitate up and kind of like hits the ceiling and breaks some shit, which I thought was pretty funny.
I don't think, it was funny. I don't think any of the kids were that crazy. I mean, like after it was done, they're just like, and she's like, I guess I shouldn't do that again. It's like, okay,
nobody was like worked up enough about seeing a child levitate. Like he literally went out of their hands and like all the way up to the ceiling. This doesn't. That's
why she gets to come to the party. She does it every fucking week at the party.
And yeah, she did have a real like kind of reaction.
And then everyone's like, well, see ya.
So Al at least acknowledges that the levitation thing was weird. Terry's gonna stay the night because everybody's kind of a little worked up. Party's over. So they go to bed. This is their first night, so some weird shit starts happening. First of all, again, terrible thing in a movie, swarm of bugs. There's like moths swarming outside his window and stuff, and that's never a good sign. From Amityville on through every, you know what I mean? There's just never a good,
never no.
Terry, he hears a voice. He comes out of his room, out of their room, I guess, where they're staying, and looks down, and he sees the door open, white light, and it's his mom standing there. We've established that Terry lost his mom. It's just him and his dad, and that's why he acts out a little bit. Did this feel familiar to you at all?
It felt to me like Masters of the Universe.
Same
when
year.
When I saw that,
in 1987, they pulled the same trick on Courtney Cox in Masters of the Universe. So I don't know if it's just one of those serendipity things, but like, now in that one, it was used by Eva Lynn to get the Cosmic Key. This, they take a more of a Shining. It felt like little kid Shining, because he goes and hugs his mom, and then realizes it's actually a dead dog. Glenn's dog, Angus.
Which I gotta say, we had a conversation, all of us, during the movie. I feel like the use of the dead dog doll that they have is perfect. Like, they do just the right amount of dead dog jokes in this movie, starting with the kid throwing it, like flopping it on the ground.
Flops on the ground.
So perfect. Just the right amount. They don't overdo it. They almost do.
And I was gonna say, there's quite a bit of dog corpse in this movie. But I think you're right. I think they nail
just the right amount of dog corpse.
I think they balance it pretty well. So the next morning, the dog sister gets her boyfriend to try to take care of the dog corpse. Meanwhile, Terry goes home, and this is where he starts kind of piecing some things together. He's listening to his metal band, and you get the impression this is a song he's probably listened to a bunch of times, and he's sitting there listening to it again, but the lyrics are really starting to feel familiar.
Yeah.
And that's when he gets out the album and he starts looking at it, and he's piecing together all this stuff. So after Terry kind of starts looking at the album. He comes back to Glenn's house. Glenn realizes that the hole's reopened. They had covered it up and filled it in like his dad told him. It's opened up on its own again. This is where Terry starts telling him about the band. What was it called? Sacrifix?
Sacrifix, yeah.
Sacrifix. So they're this band. They only had one album. Supposedly all their lyrics come from this like Book of the Dead Necronomicon type thing. It was the Dark Book. And after they released their only album, they all died in a plane crash.
Which I love the idea of like the demons having a meeting and being like, all right, guys, we get one plane crash a century. Are we going to use it on these guys? They're fucking putting the word out there.
Or also like, they're like, wow, man, there's some trippy stuff in this book. Let's write an album. Like, that's their first go-to. They're like,
yeah, let's do an album about it and open. And then one guy in the band was like, well, we have to put how to close the gate in the album too, right? You got to play backwards. Brilliant.
I love that this ties so great into that kind of mid to late 80s, the Satanic Panic. The whole thing with parents and metal music and being weird. They hit all the notes, the lyrics that are actually like things that open a gate to hell, the reverse of the lyrics that close it. It hits all those great like silly like kind of non things that people were just freaked out about in the 80s.
So true. Even Glenn says
that
to
would be
Terry,
all over Fox News. If Fox News was around in the 1980s, it would have been all about how metal music is turning your kids into Satanists.
Yeah, it's not all metal. It's just one specific album that will do
hey,
it.
I mean, I'm not going to say there probably were metal bands that were trying at least, but for the most part, Sacrifix, they nailed it.
Yeah, nobody was able to hit it like Sacrifix. Even Glenn does say to him, though, like, it's just a record album.
So it turns out that they've accidentally, between opening the geode, speaking the words, and the levitation, they've accidentally kind of almost completed this ritual. Luckily, the only thing is there was supposed to be a sacrifice in you have to throw a sacrifice in the gate. Cut to, remember the boyfriend? The one that was going to take care of the dog corpse? He's not doing such a great job.
He's having a hard day.
He's having a rough day. The shelter's closed or whatever. He buries the dog quite well, actually. Lays back the sod and everything.
He does he really does go a good distance.
He goes, okay, I'll give him that. His heart was in the right place. You figure, you find a convenient hole. It's in the backyard of the owner of the dog.
Yeah.
I mean, aside from being like, why didn't she just tell me to bury it in this big
hole?
Because it's the one question you would ask yourself. It does seem, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt, but still. It turns out that he completes the ritual, and so now the gate is open. Like we said, they were kind of having a nice moment. And they thought everything was fine, but then they have another sleepover, and shit starts to break off again. This is where the moths come back, and he had been bothered by these moths the night before. He had actually like unplugged the zapper because it was just going crazy all the time. Well, maybe that wasn't such a good idea because he goes and there's so many moths they actually shatter the glass on him and it flies all in his face and he's freaking out. The dog corpse reappears. It's in Terry. It's laying on Terry's air mattress. That was a great moment where they're like, "Wake up, Terry!" And then Terry comes up behind him. You're like, "What the fuck is in the bed?"
And that got us too because we were like, "Terry didn't wake up for that."
We were like, "That window's shattered and he's screaming." And Terry's just like, "I'm sleeping."
Oh, and that dead
hard
dog.
Day I'm meddling.
Great. Just like I said, perfect use.
Bring back the dog corpse.
You thought the dog corpse was gone. Oh no.
It's not. We also get the hands come up from under the bed and grab Al's. This is our first instance of people not fighting back hard enough with their feet.
No.
It happens a couple times. And they're just like letting themselves get tugged on. Like, I'm getting pulled. You got a free foot? Kick the shit out of that hand. I don't know. Maybe the mentality is you don't want them to get your other foot too. I don't know,
man. I've never been in that situation, but you're right. Al was not.
We also get another set of ghost parents. They run outside and their parents are there and they're like, oh, they're so relieved. The dad like picks him up by the neck and when he goes to defend himself, he like caves his face in.
Great,
it's
like
all
melts on it.
Melts on his hands and stuff. So good.
Killer.
This is really good ghost stuff because then he runs back in and like the goo's gone. It's really cool, like little weird spooky shit like that.
I love that those two daughters, like the two sisters that are there at the party, like see it happen and they still don't seem to believe that there's like some shit going down. They're like, what did you do out there? He's like, I don't fucking know.
That mentality of like, somebody's little brother happens to be a special effects wizard. They're like, "You're just messing with us." Like, oh yeah, because I made an army of tiny demons come up out of the ground, and we're like, what the fuck? This is where that is next. We
Yeah.
get our first look at the little demons. Great combination of like rotoscoping, forced perspective, where it's actually guys in suits running around, and some like claymation on their faces. I think where they do expressions, and they do the thing where the arm gets caught in the door and it falls off and turns into a bunch of little spermies and kind of like goes back
that
into
was
the
cool.
door.
That was cool.
I like that stuff, but I like the little demons. I like their little design.
Yeah, they were cool. They were cool. Not too big. I like that, almost like critters or gremlins. Not too big to one-on-one you, but you get.
Well, when you get swarmed,
yeah,
everybody gets swarmed. So they go back in there. They're like, we got to do the ritual again. We have the ritual. The album bursts into flames. So they just like start reading Bible verses. They just go out to the gate and they're just literally, it seems like at random. They're like, okay, just whatever. And immediately they act like it's working. It seemed to me like it was making things worse.
Yeah, nothing
the whole
good
way
happened.
Very angry. More smoke was getting sucked into it. More like, it didn't seem like a good situation. And Terry gets sucked into it.
Yeah. Which that part was ridiculous because he's just like, don't stand too close to the edge. He's like, I'm not standing too close to the edge. He's like, don't. And then he just falls immediately. Like, they really needed Glenn to be like, fucking told you.
I could have used like one shot of the ground giving way under his feet. They don't really give us that. He's just like, he might have jumped in. I'm not 100% on it. It's like, no, I think it was cool. I think the Bible verses did it, guys.
Let's go.
To prove it, I'm going to slide down this Goonies style. He here again, not fighting back hard enough. He's getting bit by little demons and like dragged down. He's trying to climb back up, but he could have been kicking the whole time. Like I said, I'd have been stomping some heads. He does eventually stomp on one of them.
Yeah.
But even then, I'm like, no, boot, you gotta get
he doesn't squash. There's not like spray shit that sprays up.
Should have sprayed out of that thing.
If one of those other demons doesn't make a face of horror when you stomp his best friend, then you're not doing it right.
I want a moment like in Return of the Jedi where he cups his friend. He's like, the Ewok
no head, just his body and just goo everywhere, and then he gets stomped too while he's cupping his friend.
He gets stomped. When they finally get Terry out, I like that they say fuck it and throw the Bible in like a grenade.
Yeah.
It just like blows up the whole. And again, they have their second time where they think it's fine. They even do a little dance. They all like
they do a little.
Around. I wanted so bad for the ground to give way and just all fall in at once.
That's what I thought was gonna happen. They were gonna get sucked
like...
in. But it was. I didn't notice that this was like 55 minutes. I was like, well, I don't know. Is this it?
Yeah, you didn't.
Is this supposed to be a series?
It was actually just 2 half-hour episodes of the Gate television series.
It was immediately canceled afterwards.
Well, a bunch of kids were fucking traumatized by it. Actually, it turns out.
I will say that the horror, like, this movie has kids, almost only kids in it, but the horror shit that happens is pretty grown up. It's pretty scary.
I kept thinking about Poltergeist.
Yeah,
it reminds me on that
absolutely.
level of Poltergeist, where it's like, it feels like they geared this towards kids, but it's the 80s, so fuck it. Again, think everything's fine. Then a corpse falls out of the wall. Terry had told him a story earlier that there was like a worker when their house was getting built who died, and to hide it, to cover it up, his friends just walled him up in there. Which again, this goes back to Terry's being a shitty ass friend. Like, why would you tell your friend that?
That was the moment where I realized Terry was my favorite person in the movie. When his dad was like, you could tell.
People who probably were Terry's to somebody, it seems weird.
Sometimes to each other.
I was almost a Terry to you a couple times this week.
There's a dead guy inside your wall. Oh, that's awesome.
But I like them. The wall guy is like a zombie, but when they fight him, he falls down and he like breaks into a bunch of the little demons again.
Yeah, that was cool.
That's a great little effect. I like that. And anytime the demons are on screen, I'm always happy. They just make me
good
happy.
Stuff. Yeah, they're great.
I like those things. Glenn gets attacked by zombie Terry. Do we think that he went kind of zombie because of the bites from the little demons? They never.
I never thought of that. Yeah.
He goes to get him, and Terry's head pops out, and he's all kind of got like some boils on him. He looks all creepy. And he's biting Glenn's hand. Was that like an after effect of being down in the hole, or was that just an illusion, or was that just in Glenn's mind?
Yeah, it could be.
Was Terry already a sacrifice? Because I know that Terry's the first of 2 sacrifices that the gate needs to fully open and release the major demon and everything. Was he already gone, and that's just something Glenn was seeing? Because like we know that he gets all kinds of visions, or was that like him zombied out from being bit?
I think
Any
he's dead. I think
speculation
he's dead, and it's the vision of him or whatever. He's
Okay.
supposed to be
to fuck with
gone, not
Glenn?
the real.
Yeah.
And also, to your point before, another time where somebody's like, seems like they should easily be able to get away from something,
Yeah,
and
he's
just are
biting
not.
Glenn's hand, but he doesn't look like he's even biting it that hard.
Yeah,
It's
he's
like
just
they
like,
told the actor, like, hey, don't, it's Steven Dorff, don't break the skin. Like,
yeah.
so he's trying to make it look good, but he's just kind of like barely got his teeth on it.
Yeah,
He could have
yeah.
just been like, man, get the fuck off.
Yeah,
man.
what are you doing, Terry? There's fucking monsters here, man. We're
Get
not,
your shit together,
we're not
Terry.
fagging out right now.
No time for fagging out, Terry. So during this tussle too, the zombie disappears with Al. So she makes the second sacrifice. So now the gate can fully open, and it opens right in the middle of the house. And at first, I kind of didn't understand why it didn't just reopen back in the backyard where it had been earlier. But that's like a separate conduit because black smoke just starts pouring out of that into the sky, kind of Ghostbusters-esque.
Yeah.
You know, just going in there. And then we finally get to see our like major demon, the big, again another pretty cool claymation. I think mostly stop motion.
Yeah.
Kind of puppet here. I like the way it breathed. Like it had the extra. It's
Oh, really? I
its
didn't
chest
notice
was
that.
always
That's
heaving.
cool.
It was pretty sweet, and I also love the way our little demon buddies they
They
come out
cheer.
of the hole first. And they're all just like,
I
they're
love
just,
that
like, jumping
part.
up and down and cheering and all
Yeah,
happy.
that's
And
great.
he rises up all big, and you think he's gonna like, you think he's gonna finish off Steven Dorff, Glenn. He's the only one left. He picks him up by his hand, and they just kind of like gives him a nice little pat.
Yeah,
He like
I don't know
thanks
why.
him.
Yeah,
I
he's
think
just
it's like,
kinda
thank you. You did it.
Yeah.
You performed the ritual. You gave me the 2 sacrifices. I mean, Glenn is literally bumbling his way into the apocalypse here.
And honestly, maybe also the sacrifice wasn't even a real band. It was just the demon's like fake band.
That's
So this
true.
demon's
They
like,
could have produced that. That could be one of those things like, like the Ouija board left behind
Yeah.
by him. That's the conduit. All he needs is for someone to find it to get the ball rolling.
Yeah,
it's like
exactly.
A tape from the ring.
and everybody loves to meet a fan. So he's like, hey, thanks for buying the album, man.
He actually hung a little lanyard on the backstage pass around his neck.
Sacrifice fist bumps up.
Fist bump.
There's like some demon ladies, like some groupies follow him out of the hole too.
Oh,
Time to party.
let's do this. I have to ask you, did you figure out Glenn's plan is to shoot a rocket at the demon or into the hole? I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, never was.
It has something to do with Terry telling him something about energy transfers. Did you catch that? I don't think I caught it.
When he first said that, I totally forgot about it during the rocket part. He said something about lightning, and I thought he was going to use the bug zapper again or something and like replug that in, but yeah, it was something about the energy, so it must.
He can kind of like overload them or something.
Yeah, and he
or
said
I don't-
energy from inside. Whatever it was supposed to make us believe that this fucking rocket he's gonna shoot was gonna
Yeah,
destroy
it's
the
just
thing.
like a model rocket. Like I mean,
Yeah.
you know the kind that you buy at the model store.
Yeah, plastic and
Plastic. It's
shoots.
got a little. It's basically like a tube with a firework on it. Like it just shoots up in the air. I mean, I don't know.
I love that too. That the demons are down. Like he opened the gate. Like as long as he's not up there with a fucking bottle rocket, I think we're good.
You guys didn't see any bottle rockets around, did you? I do like. I was thinking I don't want to pass over after the big monster drops Glenn. He's got an eye in the palm of his hand.
Yeah.
Which when I was talking about imagery I remembered from this movie. It's basically the little demon guys and the eye in the hand are like the 2 things that I remember from childhood.
That was cool.
Stuck with me. And I mean, I guess the gate opened up in the living room because that's a pretty dramatic image of like your childhood home just basically opening up into a pit of hell.
Yeah, absolutely. And it kind of speaks to your point about him thanking him. It's like almost like he gave him that eye hand as like a gift, and also he's like, "You're one of my minions now."
Right. That's what I was like. Is it that, or is it literally to keep an eye on him, like so that he knows what Glenn's up to in case Glenn? I didn't know. Maybe it works both ways.
It's true.
Well, Glenn obviously doesn't like it. He stabs himself with a piece of glass, and that pisses off the demon. Demon comes back. He was off. I love he just patted Glenn. He was like, "Peace." He just like went back. It's like, I'm off to wreak havoc now. But when Glenn stabbed himself in the eye, the demon must have gotten mad. Figured the
Okay, I
mutiny
wondered
was
why
on.
he came back, but that makes sense.
Makes
I was
sense,
like,
right?
why does that demon come back? I thought he was gone. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think he came back for that. And whatever Glenn's plan was, whatever we missed from Terry, fans of this movie, please comment in the
Yeah,
comment
let
section.
us know
Tell us what we missed. We're not smart, man. We just sit and speculate. But he shoots the rocket into his belly, blows him up. We get a nice little fireworks display, which I think like again gives it that kid movie feel.
Yeah.
But like the ending is like a fireworks display because only kids like fireworks.
Yeah, and that's
They're the
true.
worst.
Somewhere there's an adult down the street like, what the fuck is that noise? Goddamn
In my neighborhood, it
fireworks.
must be laid out on the ground.
Yeah.
So after he defeats the monster, we see that Terry and Al are alive, and even the dog comes back. Angus comes back. I thought it would have been awesome if like he'd have been hugging him, and then it just fell over
Oh,
and become the
man.
dog corpse again one last
Dog
time.
corpse. Like one of those like fake ending, like another scares.
Yeah, one last scare.
That he's like hugging the dog and he looks down and it's blood. It melts like his dad did. Oh, that'd be
that
great.
would have been good. That would have been awesome. But no, I like that they actually, there's no final scare. There's no, jump. They really defeated the evil. The kids did it. And I do like, too, that the house doesn't go back to normal.
No,
it's like they're alive. That's what you get. I'm not cleaning this shit up. The house is like totally fucking destroyed.
Yeah, they're in big trouble. If he got grounded for digging a hole, like a
A
foot hole.
No, he got grounded for just making an existing hole bigger.
Yeah, that's true.
That's all he did.
You're done for. You're living with Terry for a couple weeks. He's gonna make you dress up like his dead mom too.
I don't think Terry's house looked like such a great situation. He's sending an extra kid into.
I did like that he just had a white sheet hanging up that just said metal across it over top of his drums. I was like, that's tight. Nice work, Terry.
No real character corner. I literally did not recognize anybody in this movie.
I did for a second. I think I saw Jeffrey Jones. He was the guy under the bed trying to grab that girl with his hands, right? Wasn't that him? Rewatch it. Maybe that was him.
Of those tiny demons.
Yeah, no, you're right. There was no one.
I mean, we talk a little bit more about Stephen Dorff if you want. No, but I did think about, I noticed during our conversation, we mentioned a lot of kind of 80s movies that are in this vein. Monster Squad, Ghostbusters, Poltergeist, a few others, maybe Gremlins, Goonies. Where do you think this ranks among kind of like starter horror, kid adventure, like, you know what I mean? Like, where does this fall on the scale?
The bummer is it's like, I think it's really scary for kids, and it doesn't have the saving graces that Poltergeist and Monster Squad. Like, I think the kids in Monster Squad are way more interesting than the kids in this.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And I think Poltergeist as well, but also like, I think the horror. Although this, I don't know, I like the horror beats in this a lot.
I actually think like I think I've gone on record as saying I'm not the biggest Poltergeist fan.
Mm-hmm.
I think I just came to it too late. It wasn't one I ever watched as a kid. And by the time I got to it, I was kind of like, I'm not. This is big. I actually think I like this a little better.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with you that it's too scary. I mean, not too scary for young kids, but like it's starter horror, but it's upper level. It is on the same level fright wise as Poltergeist, I think. As far as like, and not only like the scares, but kids being in danger. Like kids register with that.
Yeah.
The little girl getting sucked in, or falling down the hole, or your dog, your pet, your mom and dad are gone, your sister and your best friend are dead.
Yeah, the house is empty.
And the house like opens up to a bit. That's all pretty scary shit for a kid. Yeah, that's
scary. That's the shit at night when you're like, and there's a lot of dream stuff too, where he's in bed and bad shit's happening.
Even, like small creeper beats. I like the one when he's walking through the house and he sees the picture.
The picture was my favorite.
Everyone else in the picture except him is like dead. It's like a family photo you've seen in the movie before, and then everyone else. And he doesn't even tell anybody.
No, he just looks at it like, fuck. He makes a face like, fuck.
He does. He turns from it. He's like, God damn it.
That is like the best Stephen Dorff's best acting moment in this movie, maybe any movie.
At that point that Glenn is really starting to break.
Like you can see, and I don't know, maybe they didn't even tell him. Maybe that was his family, and they didn't tell him that was going to be there because he makes a real face like, shit.
Yeah, I definitely think this is much scarier than something like Ghostbusters or Goonies or even Gremlins, although it's probably right in between Gremlins and Poltergeist, somewhere in there. But yeah, it's definitely like hits the scares, and like I said, it's relentless in its pace because it's such a short movie, so something's always happening.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's always another. So yeah, I think like I said, I think it holds up pretty well though. What do you think as far as Goodbye versus Goodbye? I've realized we don't always explain that to people. Goodbye as in money well spent. I'm glad I purchased this, or Goodbye as in you're out of my collection. Get out of here.
Get out. I think this is definitely a good buy. It does fall into the shortcomings of horror movies, uninteresting characters. We only get like 2 beats. Otherwise, I don't care about these kids at all. They're not interesting. Also, it's just, it's kind of geared to the kids, but I say the horror beats are so good. And like you say, there's cool stuff. There's that stuff they do with the wall. There's stuff they do, that stuff with the picture. It's just all really good horror stuff. So I think for me, just for that, I think it's great. I'm glad we watched it. It was cool.
Yeah, I think I already tipped my hand a little bit. I definitely think it holds up very well. I think if you look at it in the pantheon of those 80s movies that are kind of in between that, I think it fits right in there. And I think the effects are fun. Not all of them are perfect, just like any of those movies. There's some rotoscope moths in there that don't look so great. But I'll tell you what, the stuff with the little demons, and then, like I said, the stop motion or claymation, whatever they use for the big demon is really cool. And yeah, I think I agree that because of the fast pace, you don't get a lot out of the characters. They're kind of a cliche. I kept thinking about how much better the movie would be if Corey Feldman was playing Terry.
Yeah.
Like, come on. Like, 2 years before he had been in Mouth and Goonies, if that character was Terry, boom, this movie's a classic.
It's true.
For sure.
You're absolutely right, because it is kind of like his Lost Boys character a little bit too.
It's just right in between there.
It's right. It's right in his wheelhouse. You're right.
But I do like I said, I thought the emotional beats, the character beats with him and his sister were good. That relationship was pretty well fleshed out. I felt like I understood that pretty well. But overall, yeah, I think this is a great little horror flick. And like I said, a good starter. I probably wouldn't let a kid under like 10 or 11 watch it.
Yeah.
But eventually I'll get there.
You're gonna have the conversation with him about that picture and the demon grabbing him, and a lot of the language you're gonna have to, especially in 2017, you're gonna have to have.
You have to. Don't repeat that. That's a horrible word to say. Don't call people that. That's terrible. So if you're a fan of The Gate out there, if you watched this as a child like I did, whether you remember it or not, go ahead and give us a comment, or you can comment down below, or you can talk to us on Twitter. At Hurstgillies,
at the Drunksman,
hashtag DVD Bunker. Tell us about The Gate or any other episodes that you might want to chat about. Definitely subscribe to the TUFF channel. Got a lot of great content, and our sister station, Odd Shaped Channel, has their own content, and also Odd Shaped Panel often puts videos. They have It's a Twofer, and they still occasionally put up cut versions, edited versions of their Odd Shaped shows on our channel too.
Perfect.
BFF, also a great show, doing a lot more live stuff, also doing streams. If you're if you're a gamer person, you like to watch that sort of stuff. So hey, lots of stuff going on here. Not just me talking about movies to Matt. But that should be enough for you. Enough. I mean, why are you being so greedy? Can't you just we put our heart and soul into this?
Right.
But hey, thanks for watching.
Bye.